discovering the wonders of our state's natural resources and exploring the thrill of outdoor adventure. Mississippi Outdoors is a co-production of the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks and Mississippi Public Broadcasting.
Welcome to Mississippi Outdoors. I'm Amanda Mills.
And I'm Randy Newell. Thanks for joining us.
In our first story, we take a look at waterfowl habitat management in Mississippi.
Then Amanda goes spotted bass fishing at Bay Springs Lake.
Let's go.
The Commission has a long-range goal of improving waterfowl hunting in the state of Mississippi.
Our primary goal as a waterfowl program and as an agency is to improve habitat in Mississippi and to try to get more ducks to migrate in winter here.
Right there.
The mission of the Commission is number one, to protect the resource, whatever it might be, whether it be ducks or deer or squirrels or rabbits or whatever. But number two, while protecting that resource, to provide as much opportunity for Mississippians as we can possibly provide. And we take that mission very seriously.
What the Commission has done is through investigation, dealing with other states, Louisiana and Arkansas have both suffered habitat duck waterfowl losses.
As I learned about it, I wanted to try to make a difference, try to help, see what we could do as someone from Mississippi, and of course a lot of other Mississippians are involved with great conservation organizations. And also I've tried to help the Department of Wildlife here, which I think has had great vision for that as well, because they've seen we're all connected together. I mean, what happens in Mississippi is connected to what happens in the Dakotas and the breeding grounds and in Canada.
I'm a waterfowl hunter. I'm a bird shooter, wing shooter. And so I like to waterfowl hunt. All my life I've grown up waterfowl hunting. There are several commissioners on the commission that they like to hunt, of course, wildlife in general, but have a passion for waterfowl. And so with that mix, there was a lot of discussion on how can we improve waterfowl hunting in Mississippi? What do we need to do?
We've done a lot of research. We discovered that we've lost a lot of habitat over the last 15 years. A combination of WRP, which was 150,000 acres of our best lowlands that usually had crops and flooded, and now it's in hardwood timber. And the farming practices have changed. The farmers have gotten a lot more efficient, and they don't leave any grain in the field. So consequently, we don't have the resources, we don't have the food source that we used to have for ducks.
Of course, our emphasis in the agency has always been working with DU, Delta Waterfowl, Mississippi State, other folks that are in the waterfowl world, to put emphasis on not only the breeding grounds in Canada, but also what we do in Mississippi. What can we do to improve habitat when the waterfowl are here? And when they get ready to leave, hopefully they're healthy and they go back to their breeding grounds. So in that whole discussion with the commission and kind of brainstorming, we came up with that we need to look at other states, maybe just see what they're doing. There's some states that are leading in the waterfowl arena as far as what they're doing to promote and enhance waterfowl. And so we visited other states, and also as a group, several commissioners, myself, several staff members, and the agency flew to Missouri. We actually went through their process of the way they handle WMAs, the way they handle the draw system, actually drew to go hunting on one of their WMAs.
And we saw what they were doing, and it was really phenomenal. We hunted on public land on one of their wildlife management areas. We killed lots of ducks. And they've been doing it for years, and it's carefully managed, and it's been extremely successful.
We went to Missouri, visited with them, discovered that they had initiated a program 20 years ago, and they bought over 80,000 acres of land, and it's farmed. 25% of that crop is left in the field for waterfowl, and they let the public hunt it.
We concluded that if they could do it, we could give it a try.
We've done the same thing with a place called the Howard Miller, which is in Issaquah County, 2,000 acres. We've got 6 other locations in the state that we manage, and we manage them all very similarly to Missouri. Good boy.
Fortunately, we have the Heritage Fund that comes from license sales from sportsmen and women to purchase lands, and the duck stamp money to purchase lands for waterfowl and other things. So we started looking around for properties to try to improve our situation in Mississippi, and we bought 1 or 2 properties since that trip. They're prime waterfowl areas. We've instituted the permit draw, which has worked wonderfully, and we've also at the same time brought in some new young biologists who are great waterfowl people and are leading the waterfowl program.
The MDWFP waterfowl program does a lot of things for waterfowl in the state. You know, we work on public lands, WMAs, as well as private lands, and we're busy throughout the year working with wildlife management area staff, trying to manage habitat for waterfowl. It takes most of a year to get ready for the 3 months of duck season, so what we do throughout the year is try to find money to improve infrastructure on WMAs, put in things like water control structures and levees to help flood waterfowl habitat. We install wells and pumps to make sure that we have habitat in the fall, even during dry winters like this. And we also work with WMA managers to manage habitat, to do things like disking for moist soil management, doing supplemental plantings, you know, planting corn for ducks, as well as also doing things like projects to get rid of woody vegetation like in green tree reservoirs like we saw at Twin Oaks today. The machine you're seeing out there is a track hoe mulcher, and what we're doing, we hired a local contractor to come in here and start opening up some more duck holes, getting rid of some of the undesirable tree species that don't produce hard or soft mass for wildlife or waterfowl. And what he's doing is actually removing these trees one by one, and what that does is when he takes out a smaller tree like that is open up the canopy and the understory and allows sunlight to come down and hit the ground, and it allows moist soil plants like smartweed and wild millet and a few other grasses to grow up and to provide a lot of duck food. The machinery that we used in places like Howard Miller when we're rolling vegetation is we flood wetland units up in the early fall, late summer to provide teal habitat and wading bird habitat, shorebird habitat. And what we do is we go in and roll all that vegetation down, and that provides a lot of food for these birds to eat, and also places for them to land and to loaf, etc. And also open water for guys to hunt in.
We've seen through private enterprise, there are 2 gentlemen that have paved the way, so to speak, Reeves Neblett and Dan Hughes, and I'm sure there are others that have paved the way. They purchased catfish ponds, converted them to waterfowl areas, and demonstrated that you could put the right combination of management and food source there and attract a lot of birds.
We're in the process of buying another 1,000 acres above above Indianola. And then we've got the caps, the Charlie Caps is 500 acres that we're preparing for ducks.
And with the new purchase that we're talking about in Indianola, it's catfish ponds. Some of it's already been converted to row crop where they've taken the levees down. As you would imagine, if you just had raw catfish ponds, and you took the water down, when you walk out there, you're going to sink about 6 feet in mud. So it's a process you've got to take those ponds through. This is going to be a great facility for waterfowl hunting, but also when the waterfowl hunting is over, you prepare the waterfowl for the migration north. So it'll be a food source, a location in the Delta.
The state has bought some property, the state of Mississippi has, and they're farming it, leasing it out and leaving food for the ducks. And also we're doing hunts in a way that is not so crowded or so competitive that you can't have a good quality hunt.
We've hired a good staff. 4 years ago, we didn't have anybody. So we've got a staff of young biologists, and Ed Penny heads it up, and we just are headed in the right direction. And we're killing more ducks now than we did 4 or 5 years ago.
Starting in the spring after duck season, we start draining our fields and draining our wetland units that we have flooded up throughout the winter for ducks. Early March and April, we start pulling boards and water control structures to get ready for either planting or disking to promote moist soil plants, as well as planted foods like corn and rice, etc. We start planting in the spring and early summer on all of our WMAs. That's what we do. And then during the summer, we let the plants grow and let them do their thing. And before we know it, August is rolling around and we're just starting to get ready for duck season by flooding up a few units on each WMA for teal, doing some more disking, etc., to control problem plants. And then when the birds start showing up, it's a good time of year to be out and see the results of your labor. We fly 4 aerial surveys a year during the winter time. Houston Haven, one of our waterfowl biologists, is responsible for that. We start flying in mid-November, and then we do a survey in mid-December, and one in early January and one in late January. And what we do is we fly throughout the Mississippi Delta. We fly transects, and basically we count ducks, and then we extrapolate all that data, and it comes up with the maps that we see that we post on the internet, on our website, and it seems to be pretty popular.
We've been doing these surveys since 2002. I've started 2 years ago, so this year will be my 3rd year flying these. And what we're getting out of it is, like I said, comparing general estimates of waterfowl from year to year throughout the Delta, and also seeing the time of year that waterfowl are migrating into Mississippi and staying here during the winter. Generally start seeing a good number of waterfowl in November and increasing through December. A lot of times our peak numbers will be in January, sometimes they'll be in late December.
A lot of people want to duck hunt, and it's an expensive sport. So I think it's great that the state can provide these places. There's no charge at all. It's a draw, and then and then on the day of the hunt, you can show up, and about half of the hunt is who shows up, and if need be a draw, it'll be a draw between that group. I think it's very important. I think we sell close to 35,000 licensed duck stamps a year.
We have purchased land with our duck stamp money. We have hired biologists and technical people to help us improve the habitat for private landowners and for the public hunting, the WMAs and all the lands that we can help do. And I think we've made some progress there. I think people have more public hunting now than they've ever had.
Shoot 'em, shoot 'em, shoot 'em.
We need to remember that everything we do as waterfowl biologists and hunters benefits a lot of other species besides the ducks that we love to hunt.
I'm an avid waterfowl hunter, and I just think the more waterfowl habitat you have, the better we're all going to do, the private places and the public places.
I'll be pleased to know that I had a small part in turning Mississippi into one of the premier duck hunting states in the country.
I just think that our state's, for a southern state, that we're thinking with a leading edge, trying to improve and make this state the best as it can be as far as waterfowl, and we're headed in the right direction. I think we're doing the right things.
We encourage the public to buy their duck stamps so we can have more money to spend on waterfowl.
There's a duck dropping down this way.
We need to keep waterfowl hunters. We need to promote the sport of waterfowl hunting, and we're trying to do that through the second year of our youth waterfowl camp. We're working with Ducks Unlimited and Mississippi State and Delta Waterfowl and Delta Wildlife to try to get more kids involved in duck hunting and to show what waterfowl hunting means to conservation.
A lot of these other oak trees, which are producing really nice sized acorns for ducks, cannot survive in these constant flooded conditions.
We've got I think, a real good program started. We have different habitats that we're managing now differently. I think the public has responded. We've gotten real good comments on what we're doing and how we're improving the waterfowl habitat and the waterfowl opportunity.
You know, we love doing what we do. We're focused primarily on ducks, and that's what we do, is try to make duck habitat in Mississippi for both ducks and hunters.
Did you know that the money spent on your hunting and fishing license is an investment?
The Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks uses money from license sales to enhance hunting and fishing.
Like providing public hunting opportunities for wildlife management areas.
Advise private landowners on deer and habitat management.
Providing public fishing opportunities on state lakes.
And operating fish hatcheries for stocking public lakes and streams.
So make an investment in the great outdoors.
Buy your Mississippi hunting and fishing license today. This morning we are doing a spotted bass fishing trip at Bay Springs Lake in Prentiss County. With me today is Larry Pugh. He is Assistant Chief of Fisheries for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks. Larry, tell me a little bit about this lake.
Amanda, first of all, we're glad to have y'all up here today. This is a unique lake, unlike any other lake in the state. Deep, clear, tremendous spotted bass populations, about 5,500 acres. So no other lake like it in the state. Bay Springs is popular for its spotted bass fishing, particularly the opportunity to catch a trophy spotted bass. And when I say trophy spot, a bass over 5 pounds, and that's a big spotted bass. The current state record's a little over 8 pounds. We think there's one that big out here right now, and we'd love to go catch it.
Who else with us today?
We're lucky today, Amanda. We have Ricky Houston. He's going to be fishing with us from Mantachie, Mississippi, Jason Olive, and Nathan Martin. And we've got a guest from down south today, up from the Mississippi Gulf Coast area, Justin Swartz. He's came up to fish with us today.
Well, good. Well, sounds like we're going to have a good day today. Let's get on the water.
Okay, looking forward to it.
How long have you been fishing on this lake?
Well, the waterway opened in 1982, and I have been fishing this lake since the waterway opened. So I have several years. That kind of tells how old I am.
And has it gotten better as the years go along?
The numbers are not as great, but the size is a lot better.
Oh. Now, what do you predict for today?
You're putting me on the spot now.
Besides cold weather.
The water temperature is 47.5. Could be tough, or it could be an excellent day. They are dropping the lake level, so we'll just have to go see. Shaky head. Have you ever fished a shaky head?
Now, what is this, a shaky head?
Shaky head. Okay, it's basically a worm that has a jig head in it. And we're going to throw it out, let it go all the way to the bottom, and we're just going to just jiggle.
Just jiggle it.
Just jiggle it.
Now, I've never fished in gloves, and I've never fished in this cold of weather, so I'll do my best. Tell me about the spotted bass.
The spotted bass is it's a fighter. They really like deep water. They're a lot like a smallmouth in the way they fight. They don't jump quite as much, but they really pull.
Now, am I doing this correct?
You are doing it correct. Move it just a little bit more than what you're moving it. Keep it, shake it a good little bit. Just a steady little shake and then reel. You slack up, just keep shaking it all the way back to the boat.
No! Good fish, though. I think they might need our help. I think Larry has these fish tied up.
Well, he's catching baby fish.
Good job.
Spotted bass.
So tell me a little bit about them.
Native to the Tombigbee River, found in most parts of the state. Typically a stream or a river fish, light current. Smaller mouth than what you would say a large mouth, and if you look in there and rub his tongue, on the top of his tongue, you feel a rough tooth patch. That's pretty distinguishing. Also, if you close its mouth, the mandible does not extend back past the back of the eye.
Yeah.
That's an average size fish for this lake. A lot of bigger fish are caught here. That's what we're hoping you catch is a big one.
They're OMGing down there.
Uh-oh. It makes me so mad. I feel like I keep getting little bites with this thing.
It probably may be bites, or you may be bumping some of those little roots that's down there. I got your rod.
Oh, hey, look at there.
He is a good one.
Do I need to get the net?
Yes, please. Oh, he come off. Oh.
Problem is, I have let probably what, 4 or 5?
4.
Just get off.
I've lost 2.
It's gotten colder. I have a fish. Oh! He's a big one. Uh-oh. Now, sometimes I've lost fish doing this. Did you get him?
I got him.
Oh, wow. It's a big one. How big is that fish?
The fish is close to 3 pounds.
Wow. Where on the tongue are those sharp teeth?
See the little brown patch right in there? You can reach in there.
All right. It's a good fish. That's how you do it. You got one?
There's a good one.
Hey, I'm gonna reel in.
It's a heavy fish.
I can't even say, oh my word. It's a huge fish.
You can tell they're cold, they're not cutting up much.
My word. Good job. That's a good way to close the day. Now, we've had a great day out here on Bay Springs Lake. Thanks for having us.
You're
I've
welcome.
had fun, and it's getting cold, so I'm ready to take it to the boat ramp.
I'm ready, let's go.
Getting rid of the heat. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, that's all the time we have for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Join us again next time for more exciting adventures. Until then, I'm Amanda Mills.
And I'm Randy Newell.
See ya outdoors.